What's up, H-Town and all around? OSG, welcome back to the Dash Dispatch. All Dash, all the time. With me, back again, Houston's favorite, H-Town's sports fangirl, Dani. How you doing, girl? Welcome back. Missed a week because you were just baseballed out.
There was baseball going on. World Classic was here, so I had to go to that.
I'm sorry.
I can't miss baseball.
USA.
Venezuela,
Yeah,
Venezuela.
and you were there rooting for Mexico in that one game too. So
I
want to give you a little extra. Hey, but welcome back, Dani. We got a big show tonight, so looking forward to it. Woo! But also, Foxtrot Media has been busy in the background. Been working. Got the paperwork down. Been signing. Do we have a DP signing to announce right now? And I'm gonna go capital THE, the Laura Gómez. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the crew. Enjoy. Laura, how you doing?
I'm super excited. Thank you so much, guys, for the warm welcoming. It's amazing to be here. And again, to talk about the team that we love so much on and off the pitch. So I think it's going to be an exciting, hopefully a very exciting season.
So far, so good. Not to segue into anything, but let's do it. Game day versus San Diego. The NWSL season is here and upon us, and we finally have Houston Dash soccer. And do we ever in a good fashion. But you know what? Y'all gonna have to stick around and hear us and talk about it. But the lineup, Fabrice Gautreau announces the lineup, and you have 5 new starters, Mackenzie Robbie, and 4 rookies starting for the Houston Dash this season, with part of the core from last season. Totally surprised. Preseason, I thought we were just giving them every opportunity. They're there, and they're for real. We're going to get into it today. Dani, I want to start with you. The lineup. How surprised were you to see the 4 rookies? Robbie, I know you've been promoting her the past few episodes.
I know, and she did exactly what I thought she would do against her old team.
So shout out to you. But what you got with the lineup? Surprised?
I'm not that surprised because Fabrice was doing the mixture between veterans and rookies all preseason. So when he put the 4 new rookies, and that was surprising because I was reading that we haven't done that since about 2020. We put 4 rookies on the starting, and so to see that was impressive. But I'm not too surprised that that's what he chose to do and just give some mixture again. Right? That's how you have to go into the season. If that's what you think the game plan is, that you have to start it sooner than later.
Hey, Fabrice is a different type of coach, and he's been, obviously last season he made some moves. Jane Campbell getting benched, Laura, Yasmin Ryan was benched to start the season in the first game, one of those. So I ask you the same question. 5 new starters, Yasmin Ryan benched. How surprised were you with the lineup?
I mean, I have to agree with Dani and with what you just said. I mean, Gautreau's known to do kind of mix-ups. I mean, just like you mentioned, Jane Campbell not being a starter after being a starter for as far as, as long as we can remember, unless she was injured, right? So I think that kind of gives it a way of saying what he wants to do with the team. And I remember asking last season, I'm like, what's going on with her? Is she injured? Is she leaving? Just kind of asking around. And basically the answer was like, well, we like a healthy, competition within the team. And if one player is playing better, then that player is going to be the one that's the starter. And I like that kind of mentality because I think it's healthy within the club itself with players. And I think that it's also good for players to want to keep that level and not just say, hey, well, I'm always a starter. I'm going to be the starter forever. I think that that's important to have that kind of competition and that internal kind of fire going within yourself to always be better than when you were, the last game or the game before and the game before, because there's someone else that's stepping on your heels.
I think Jane in her media interview with Ion prior to the game, or with whoever covers the broadcast part, said that she said, I'm trying to grow within every game. And it has to be a disappointment for her to make the U.S. women's national team be like the starter, and then all of a sudden you're not even involved anymore. You get benched for your home team and have to be completely disappointed. And this is, I mean, this is coming after you just got married, so your life is on a high note. Everything just
Yeah.
it sucks. So we love Jane Campbell, and so hopefully she can get back to it, but just grow every day and be Jane Campbell. So speaking of the rookies, we'll go back to you, Dani, real quick. Speaking of the rookies, technically, the rookies and Robbie, since they're the five, we're going to involve Robbie in the five. So, what is your give your opinion on how those five did as overall? Who stood out more? Give a second opinion on the second one. Who needs to work on a little bit more of those five for this game?
I think because we held them off for so long, again, I was talking about defense, and it seemed like they did pretty good. I did see a lot of San Diego having possession. So I want us to have the ball more than just 30% that we kind of had them. I know I was talking about passes and how we need to control the ball more, but not even to have the possession that long or that many times. Like, that was kind of disappointing. It did seem like defense was a little bit more organized when we didn't have the ball. They kind of set back and help the back team like keep the ball away from the goal, and I like that we held them off again the whole second quarter pretty much, just because like we scored our goal at the very end of the first half, and then the second half we kind of just kept them away, except again the defense, we did let the ball get too close, and Jane Campbell did stop the ball, and it came back and then went away and then came back and went away. And I want to say it was Glenke at one point that kind of slid in with that tip of the foot and kicked out, but then it went right back to San Diego and then went back to Jane, and Jane had to tip it out. And so it was just seeing that moment. I think it was the 63rd, 64th minute of the game. I was like, all right, that's kind of what I hate to see, is that there's a lot of pressure on our goalie. And I always talk about how we do need to let her when we need her, we really need to use her, but I don't want to make her in a position like that where she may miss the ball in the corner shot because she's all the way to the left side and then the right's open. And then, so seeing those kind of plays did worry me, but the fact that, again, we kind of held them off the whole second half, that was impressive.
Yeah, it was.
And Graham with the assist with the Robbie shot, right? She kicked it straight, an opening, there was no players there, and just boom. And so I was really impressed to see that.
Laura, same thing with the rookies that played this game. Who did anybody extrally impress you? Who stood out? There was expectations for Olmark, especially on the defense. Well, not the defense, sorry, but where she played. But yeah, anybody stand out to you? Anybody you want to shout out on those players that started?
I mean, we have to obviously give the highlight for, Rob who scored. I think that's the one that kind of your mind just automatically goes to it because she's the one that scored. But I think that it's also, even though they're rookies and they've played soccer obviously many times before in big stadiums and stuff like that, but playing with the new team and an away game also adds more pressure, and knowing into the type of team that the Dash is, I think also adds to that. Because I feel like a lot of people, when you mention the Dash, sometimes the props isn't given to the team. When I talk to other NWSL, reporters or even just, fans or followers for a long time, they kind of say, oh yeah, Houston has grit, Houston has this and that, but the playoffs and this and that, it always kind of goes to that kind of sentiment. But bringing new blood in, like we mentioned, with the newbies, the rookies, not newbies, rookies, I think also is a good sign of the growth of the Dash, that they do want to create in the team and kind of continue the, I would say, uprising of the team from last season to this season. So yeah, the team has gone through a lot of change, drama, and sweat and tears and a lot of things throughout the last couple seasons.
Right.
But I don't want to talk out of time or out of place perhaps, but I do want to see the team kind of ascend, and I feel like these new players could be the tools needed to kind of give the team the extra umph that perhaps they were looking for last season.
Now, Yeah, go ahead, Dani.
I'm going to mention real quick. Again, I was reading about it, and this is the first time that we've won in a season opener since 2017.
7 years.
And so I thought that was such a great way to, again, prove it that we're ready for this season, especially when we did half and half veterans and rookies. And Robbie made that score, and just overall, I think like, all right, we're thirsty for that win.
For sure. Yes, I agree.
So
Wow. Yeah. Thirsty, like you said, prove it. Man. All right. I lost my train of thought on the other question I was about to ask you, Laura, but no worries. No worries. I'll come back to it because we'll oh yeah, actually, so, sorry, I do remember the question because it is an important question. And me and Andreas talked about it last week. The dynamic Foxtrot was on the show last week covering for Dani while she was trying to catch home runs. I don't think she was sitting behind the fence, but she was there enjoying the game. I could see. Unfortunate Mexico, but whatever.
I was sad too.
The
it was
team,
so sad.
the
It was
team is
sad.
up for sale, as we know. Did that change Jessica's and Angela's how they're going to approach this season as far as going into the market and looking for players to improve this team? You obviously are Robbie, who is a 2-year experienced player, or an experienced player, and then the keeper that we brought in, and then you have the rookies left, 5 rookies we added this season. Did the potential sell the team prevent us from going bigger? Cat Macario on the market. You have a Bunny Shaw that might be a free agent, that might get to a new team for free. You have stars out there. It could used to be a target as well. So it's kind of 2 questions.
I mean, I think that if you look at Houston, at least the soccer teams in a whole, we really haven't been the teams that, get, the James Rodriguez or, the bigger names, from European teams or Ibrahimovic when he was available. We've never really had those big names. As far as a Dynamo, Ache has been one of the ones that has been more internationally kind of known. And I think that perhaps the sale did kind of make them worry or not worry, but kind of think of how much money they can or can't spend, because if they sell a team, how much can they get for the team if they have a player that's more expensive, or how much, can they say, well, we have this much money stocked up in case you want to make your own buys of the team. So I think it was like a combination of really knowing of how much money can you realistically spend, and how much money you kind of want to leave there for the person that buys the team for them to make their own moves. So I think it's an interesting spot to be in. But again, looking at the team historically, yes, we've had some big player names in the dash, but they haven't really lasted, right? There was a point that we had, like how many years was that ago, that we had 3 national players, in the team, and and they lasted 1 season and they left. I don't even want to name them because one of them is, the coach's wife, but, we're not going to mention that. But at a point they were at the dash and there were big names at that time, right? So I remember being super excited. I'm like, finally, the moment's here. And then like I turned around, blinked, and they were gone. So I think it's a combination. Again, I'm kind of derailing back into like history things with the dash, but I think it was like a combination of not wanting to overspend, or perhaps also leaving that money there for the next person to make their own dream team sort of sense.
Wow, it's sad because the value is just jumping and jumping and jumping. We're valued at $77 million just a year ago. Now we're hearing it might even be 140, above 120 for sure. So please pay for somebody like a Cat Macario, somebody who could value increase your own club. Dani, same thing. I know you weren't here last week, so you didn't get to have a take on this. So I asked you the same question. What is your take on this situation here with the potential sell of the club and how we went our approach?
It's kind of scary since we're trying to figure out our rhythm, and like Laura was saying, for someone to come in and kind of just like have a free for all with like what they want and their expectations from the team does kind of scare me, because I think we're trying to go this route, and if someone comes in that doesn't know what we're trying, if they don't see our vision, I don't want them to come in and stir the pot, and then like we do go down to like last place. I got a notification from ESPN the other day, and it was like, why are we expecting Dash to be last place? And I was like, what?
I mean, but that's
I was
like a
so
usual.
offended.
But that's a usual thing, or either second to last. I mean, it's not something new, Dani.
No, not at all. But just to see it like in my face, I was
Yeah.
so like, no, this year is different. Like
Soccer
there's
wise.
no way. Especially because we were just talking the other week how we were hoping that we may go into like 8th, potentially 7th. And since we won our first game, like, okay, there's a chance like we can pick up on our rhythm. And so it's just like, I still want an outline for someone who comes into the team.
Yeah, and I kind of want to chime in, Dani, if I can. I think that a lot of people, and I think ESPN specifically, I think that they look at the stats from the last seasons and the kind of ups and downs that the team has had, right? And the selling of like bigger names, they're leaving to La Liga MX Femenil, and they've gone to other teams in MLS. And I think that they look at those kind of like trades and things that they've done recently and in the past, of course, the last seasons, and they don't see, besides, Avery, I would consider a big name, but she's still growing. She's still becoming that huge name,
She's
right?
still very new to the team.
Yeah, exactly. She is in nationally too with the women's, U.S. national team. But I think that sometimes people that don't know the team itself or the history of the team, or perhaps are casual NWSL fans, want to see the big international names. And if they don't see those big names, they already discount the team and put them in the last places. And I think that happens a lot with like ESPN kind of outlets.
Yeah, it's a business thing. And so again, with like Houston, like word out there that we're not the most desirable place to come, and then trying to get a big name so we can become a big desirable place to come and just even to watch, I think just kind of contradicts each other because it's like, how can we do both, right?
Yeah.
I like it. Hey. So hopefully something happens soon, sooner than later, so that we can, maybe go chase those rabbits that we're looking for. That was a play at Money Shaw, please. But I know she's going to stay overseas. She's from overseas, so she's not going to come to MLS. That's just a play. Let's go for somebody strong. Where will the goals come from? That's still a big question that we're asking. But you know what? I want to move on. Big surprise. We talked about the lineup, the substitution. I mean the substitutes. Yasmin Ryan, Sheehan, Kiki Van Zetten, all players on the bench. So a big surprise as we did highlight the rookies won, and they deserve that opportunity and that start because they have practiced well, obviously, in the preseason to Fabrice has spotted him. But you also have one, Yasmin Ryan. Kiki Van Zetten wanted to play with her sister so bad. She did play with her sister at the end for a
I
little bit.
love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
almost handed out though, and I was so scared and worried about it. And I was like, "Come on, Mimi, you can stay. You can stay." But big was one Yasmin Ryan and some of the substitutes a big surprise as well to you to go along with the rookie starting. Let's Laura, start with you this time, please.
I mean, it goes back to what kind of we mentioned. It wasn't a surprise. I feel like, what we've seen in the preseason. I do want to say that I like that kind of, I want to say, maybe riskiness or feeling confident of his team that he goes out with, players that perhaps people didn't believe that they were going to be the first ones to open up the season, right, for the Dash in an away game. Just because we mentioned the extra, heaviness or pressure or a little bit more responsibilities of when you're starting a team and you're new and there's so many things to that, right? So no, again, I'm like, I wasn't really surprised. I think that it's a smart move. I think that it's a smart move, and it kind of gives him another kind of good feel of what players might be the ones that are going to be the ones that are starters here at home. It's going to be the second game of the season for the Dash, but it's the home opener, so I think that takes a lot of importance, and it kind of also sets the tone for how it's going to be at home. So I think it was a smart move to play who he played in San Diego for him to kind of have a good list of who he wants to see on the pitch as starters here at home in Houston.
Yeah, Yaz is one that was the biggest surprise for me to not get the start. And like I said, these rookies are something different, and maybe because it's more of a 4-4-2 looking situation, Yaz doesn't fit as much because she likes to play wider. But Fabrice is keeping everything compressed on both sides of the ball right now. So even in the second half when she did sub in, she didn't play wide very much. So Yaz can bring something, but I want to go back to the rookies. Yaz might get some more time because Kate Fossey, who I've been talking about, Danny's been talking about too, hyping her up, and she's been getting a lot of hype from a lot of outlets as well. Started the game, played very well, had a couple opportunities to score, went down with a very bad ankle injury, and she turned her ankle pretty bad, and her ankle blew up, and she is in a cast, and so we're going to miss her for a minute now. So unfortunately, we've already hit our first injury for the season, but Danny, I gotta go to you. Back to the original question with the players that were put on the bench and not started, and getting one. Absolutely, Yasmin Ryan.
I think, like Laura said, it's a smart move. I definitely think it's a bold move. I do love it in a sneaky way because other teams don't expect it. So if they're seeing our rookies come in on the first game with the new team, and we're already kind of playing the way we're showing up, I think it'll be exciting to see, especially if we just keep mixing it up, right? Keep the rotation going. I think it'll definitely let us keep their other team on their toes and be element of surprise.
Element of surprise. I like it, and obviously San Diego does not from the outline of this score line, and what San Diego tried to do and was able to do, but you had reasons that San Diego did not win this game, and let's go highlight, Danny. Which I'm going to start with you. It's Mackenzie Robbie, who you've been highlighting for quite a while now.
I know. I love that she proved me right.
Absolutely proved you right. And I love the part where she went to celebrate and then like, oh, hold up. Turned around and celebrated with the girls. But Mackenzie Robbie, extra time of the 45th minute in the first half, 0-0. A great ball, as you mentioned earlier, from Maggie Graham from our side of the field.
Literally just like, whoosh,
yep.
And it was open. The two,
over.
like,
perfect.
Yeah.
Defender misplaced
there are no players.
Mackenzie Robbie.
Yeah, there are no players around Robbie.
If you go back and look, I think the defender was distracted by Kate Fossey as well. And Mackenzie Robbie, just from out of the screen, comes in.
Yeah.
And that degree, and then boom, next thing you know, and she just plays it perfectly. But Danny, Mackenzie Robbie, you've been highlighted. Go ahead and highlight her some more.
Yes. No. Okay. Well, I love that she scored that, right? But I really do have to just give up Graham for her props because I rewatched that highlight so many times. I'm telling you, it was beautiful just to see the kick. And it was beautifully arched and landed right in front of her with her time to just kick it and boom, right past the goalie. And it was just a great play overall. So the whole thing was just great. So yeah, Robbie, of course that was her goal, but she really couldn't have done it without Maggie. And both of them knew, they saw it, they did it. They executed it great. And so I think that little teamwork there is going to go a long ways.
Hey, it came off a throw-in, and the team pressed and won the ball, played it backwards to Maggie. Maggie turned and looked. Laura, Mackenzie Robbie with a beautiful goal. The game-winning goal is what it turned out to be, too. How impressive.
Yeah, right before halftime, which is even better, right? Because then you get to celebrate, take a break, and then recover, get ready for the second half. All right. So perfect timing.
Yeah.
It took because I was watching, or went back and had to watch because I was at the Dynamo game, so it was, impossible to watch the dash while working at the same time. But it took us, 20 something minutes to finally have an opportunity against San Diego and push an opportunity, and it was the build up in the 26 minutes was a great build up where Olmark hit the post, and then the follow up and the save. So there was moments that were building up to the moment that created the moment, right, Laura? Were you, I know, slow start and then started getting impressive?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had a little bit of bad flashbacks of last season because I know the Dash kind of really kind of kept us on our toes, scoring at the last minute or scoring after they were scored on, which is I don't want the team to fall into that trend of last season of always having to fight to not only get back in the marker and tie, but fight again to actually win the game. And I feel like a lot of the games from last season kind of went into that trend of having to pressure yourself and you're already down one goal and then, not only having to tie, but, actually trying to win the game. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, please just score. I want you guys to score first. Like, I want the Dash to score first and, just have those points there. Overall, I really did think it was a good game. I did feel, again, like, what Danny said in the beginning, that San Diego had more possession. They did have more opportunities here and there to score. I think that if the goals if they would have scored the goals, it would have been like probably like up to 4 goals from San Diego if we would have not had obviously the defense that we have and have somebody as strong as Jane Campbell blocking those goals, if not for a little more. So I think it was a really good game to kind of watch back and say, okay, so this is where we need to also let Jane breathe, because we've seen it in the past that even though Jane can block, 3, 4, maybe 5 or more, we can't only have a team by having, defense. And we need to, and that's kind of like a problem we had last season of having a good, really good defense, a good midfield, and having those goals that for whatever reason didn't go in. And at the end of the day, it's whoever scores the most who takes the points home.
Because we hit the post and it doesn't go in. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See, that's why I had bad flashbacks.
All right, so Laura, you brought up a good point, but possession and compression. So one, Fabrice says possession is not a goal for this team. It's not part of the style. We're not trying to possess the ball. So let's make sure the fans understand that when they see a 30 to 40% possession rate to 60 from the other team, that is his style, and that's what he's telling the team to do. That's possession.
Okay.
Compression. Yeah. He has decided to box, the flat box, the middle of the field, and give the width up the entirety of the game. He is going to allow you to run the width, and he will not give you anything up in the box. That is super dangerous, as we saw, Laura. You mentioned it already, and Dani. Jane had to make 9 saves. We call her Super Jane. So I don't like the super box compression that Fabrice is doing. And I did ask him about it at the Cotton Bowl after Dallas Trinity, because I noticed it on both sides of the ball. And he said he didn't want to give up the middle of the field. But, I thought that there was no threat. So let's defend a little bit more. We did give up the goal. We lost to Dallas Trinity. So that's why I questioned it more. But Super Jane, Super Captain Jane Campbell with 9 saves. And it felt like 3 of those saves were within the first 75 minutes, and the last saves were at the end. Like, Jesus Christ. How the friggin' hell. But Super Jane Campbell, Laura, Super Jane Campbell. Tell me about her. She is very impressive, and she just had a spectacular game, and I'm just glad she works out.
I mean, for sure. I think that for me, she was like, again, like the highlight of the, of the game, I think. But again, I understand what Fabrice is saying, that not having the possession is not, the goal, because you can have the possession 80% of the whole, game, and your opponent have 20%, but they, in the moments that they had the possession, they scored 3 goals, and you guys, 80% didn't score any. So I understand that logic, but sometimes old school, I guess, train of thought is the more possession you have, the more opportunities you have to go and score, right? So it's a different way of thought of thinking. I think it's valid. I think that you don't have to have possession to score. You can do quick touches and score. But for this game, I wanted to see a little bit more attacks, I guess, a little bit more position. And I think that, again, it kind of gave me a little bit of flashbacks of maybe what we saw last season. I don't know about you guys, if you had any kind of flashbacks. I mean, obviously I saw improvements and better things like that. But I just don't want to fall into that defending kind of style, unless that's what Fabrice wants, and he wants, the rival team to attack and then always have to push back. But we'll see. I think I'll have a better vision of his vision more with, as the games kind of go within the season.
And Dani was on with me on Bio City a week ago, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago, whichever it was, a week ago, to preview the show, and we talked about how we don't want Jane Campbell to be the MVP of this team. We want somebody else to be the MVP. And I know Danny agreed, but Danny, we're in that situation where Jane Campbell was the MVP of this game already.
I know, and that's what I didn't want. That's why I was always talking about our defense and stuff, because I didn't want the ball to always go to the goal. I didn't want it to make it that far where Jane had to defend it so much. She made 9 saves last season. I think her highest was 11 or something like that, and even then that was 2 for that game. And that's what going what Laura said, you're scarred from certain things. And I love Jane Campbell because, again, she's a beast. But we also need our team to support her. We can't just rely on her. And in that 75th minute, when she had to save the ball three times, we don't always need the possession for very long. We can do a lot with 30% of the time. But then we're tiring our players out because we're looking for the ball, we're chasing the ball, we're trying to save the ball, we're trying to catch the ball. So now we're using a lot more of our time and our strength just getting the ball back rather than passing and going to the goal. And so I know I want our offense, with a little bit of time they have possession, is a quick, get the ball and kick it, right? I don't want them to hesitate and look for an open spot, because sometimes it's right there and they miss it and then they kick it back and you're like, what are you doing? You could have literally kicked it right there. Our players are set up, and so I do want to see a little bit more on offense if we do have a little less of possession time. But again, it's teamwork, and we just have to utilize when we do have the ball.
Now, segue to the teamwork. Malia Berkeley, Paige Nielsen, and I want to shout out Malia Berkeley. I think Malia Berkeley had a great game. She did make a goal line save. She was in the right place a lot of the times. Now, Laura did mention earlier that San Diego probably should have scored 4 goals, but Jane Campbell's there to make those saves. But at the same time, Malia Berkeley did put in some work. Paige Nielsen was everywhere as well, and then Klinke was doing some work, and Patterson was doing some work. So we do need to shout out the defense, because they did a spectacular job, and we still had that clean sheet. Y'all go.
Yeah. That's what, Jane's fifth clean sheet or something like that I was reading about.
5th? Gotta be way more than 5th. 5th in the last month?
Oh, yeah.
I don't doubt if it was more, but yeah.
She's had, what,
okay,
160
not in total.
stars. She probably has 60s.
She has more than,
I just don't want her to have all the pressure on it.
No.
I don't want us to always rely on her.
No.
Well, no, I mean, that's what we were saying. I agree in her, obviously, that the teammates feel secure that you have a really good goalie. Because I played high school. I'm not a professional, but I was so happy when I had, the goalie that I knew had her back, because I'm like, okay, if I miss it, she's going to have it, So it's that kind of sense of security, right? But again, I would want to see a team that attacks more and is the first one to score. And that's why I was happy when they scored first, even with all that pressure that they were having, because San Diego was relentless at a point. They were like, attack, 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 attack. And San Diego's not going to be the only team that is going to be like that. I mean, last year we had so many teams that were like that, and the Dash was able to hold them back, but it also didn't give them enough time to not only hold them back, but also try to score. And I don't want those same patterns to kind of fall. But, this goal was very clean. It was, I think one of the most perfect goals I've seen, because it was just so clean and so swift. But we're not always going to have those kind of opportunities.
Right.
And it might go into the nitty gritty and turn into a goal that's not pretty, but it's still a goal, which for me would be the purpose of trying to avoid those kind of things. And sometimes you can't if a team is attacking you back to back to back to back, because it doesn't give you time to breathe or think about what your next step is going to be.
That's crazy. And you saw it a few times where the defense was just clearing it out to no man's land, and our striker was playing just outside the box. So there was obviously going to be no possession return, and we're just setting back up. So 1-0 win for the Houston Dash versus the San Diego Wave. Big upset. I don't know, major upset, but definitely big upset to start the season off. Big surprise, big notice for the NWSL. We did defeat them 3-0 towards the end of the year. I think it was September last season. So, everybody can go back and play that one. But, teams are new. They have new players. Lou Miller's a beast, and, we were able to stop her. So good job. Shout out to the Dash. But Laura, one of the questions we asked, and I think Danny's asked this, and I asked Andreas last week, is where are the goals going to come from this season? We got one from Mackenzie Robbie. We did see a few times where they did want to play the ball over the top and try to lead a forward, Kate Fossey and Mackenzie Robbie, on past those defenders. But other than that, they had some build-up plays and some nice build-up plays. 26-minute mark was the one I took noticed the biggest. But where can the goals come from for this Houston Dash team this season?
Dani, take the lead, Dani, and see where are the goals going to come from.
I mean, she highlighted Mackenzie Robbie again, and then she didn't.
No, I can't, because I feel like we all need to share the ball, and we have all potential for everyone. But I really, unfortunately, didn't get to watch the whole game either because I was at the Dynamo game too. So I'm really, when we see them on Saturday, for our home opener, that's when I think I'll see like firsthand what the potential will be, and then I guess the lineup too. If he's going to keep the same lineup, if he'll change it, like that teamwork on the pitch, like firsthand.
Right. Who's going to replace Kate Fossey will be the question. It might be Clarissa Laracy. She's the one who did come in at that point. I hate it too.
I hate that for her. God, and like what, the 50, like barely in the second half, already out with a broken ankle.
Debut. And she was denied early in the game where the point blank and the keeper like made the save and like, come on. I'm so rooting for her too. Obviously, I follow her on her socials. She posts on her socials, and she posts on her TikTok that she was hurt. She's in a cast. She was in a wheelchair leaving the hospital. So unfortunate news, sad news. So hopefully for a quick recovery. It did not look good. So just a sprain. Let's just go with that, please. Laura, real quick, any final notes on this game before we move on to the NWSL Roundup?
I think that it was a good kind of shakeup, I guess, maybe if, again, for people that perhaps just follow the bigger names, because San Diego does get a lot of coverage. And for us just to say, hey, Houston beat them 1-0, no matter what the changes have or haven't been done in the teams, just as a history of just having that name of San Diego Wave, and having the Dash beat them, I think it gives us a good clout and maybe have people look into the team more throughout the season. So I think it was a good beginning, just looking into the name of the teams itself.
Good beginning. Home game coming up. Dani, any final thoughts on the game?
I hope we can keep showing up like that going forward.
Road warriors we've been. Now we need to be home warriors.
Yeah. I don't want us to come home and then like not be in a groove and it's awkward, and like I want to show up even more now that we're home and we have our own pitch and we know how to play on our own in our own stadium.
In the heat, in the Texas heat.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what they were saying. I think I heard something about Campbell or someone was saying.
Yeah,
that, like,
Jane was saying that.
Yeah,
because we're like an oven.
So it's going to be 90 in the high 90s, and it's a 3:00 game. So we might have enough shade where we are sitting, but some of those fans, as we're hearing that there's a lot of tickets being sold, are going to be in the sun. But we'll come back to that here shortly, because we're gonna review the league and how they did over the weekend as the NWSL opened up this weekend. Thank God it's finally here. It felt like it took friggin' forever. Jesus. I love the Dynamo. I love watching the Dynamo. I was like, when are the Dash starting? Let's go.
Yeah.
Dash has started. NWSL has started. First game was on a Friday night. Washington was hosting Portland. I expected Washington to win this game. I probably would have bet if I was a betting man and bet on Washington. They ended up going down 0-1. And Moultrie, who is my runner-up to the golden goal for the season, ends up scoring a goal. That was my bold prediction. Number 2 goal scorer for the season. Moultrie scored the winning goal, 1-0. What a beautiful touch of Brown, but scored 1-0. Laura, Dani, I should have said before I started the roundup, I'm going to run through the games and have a little and say something about them. If y'all want to interrupt me before I move to the next game and have a comment on it, throw it in there. We are good for it. Washington Spirit, Portland Thorns, Moultrie with the goal, 1-0. Boston, our next opponent, took a red card in their game, had 30+ thousand fans. Great job showing up and showing out at Gillette Stadium. At least somebody can play in New England. I know the Dynamo can't, but they end up losing 1-0 to the defending champions Gotham. My golden goal prediction is Esther, who ended up scoring the game-winning goal and winning that game 1-0 for Gotham. Dani, what you got?
I will say I was paying attention to that game just because again we're playing Boston here. It's their first year, right? Like they're one of the new expansion teams. Yeah, so I was really excited to kind of watch that. I'm not surprised that Gotham beat them though, because it's Gotham, right?
Yeah.
And whatever. But hopefully that did kind of like wake them up. But just to kind of play like a rookie team, I guess would be exciting too in our own pitch, and so that'll be a nice like home opener for us. And so kind of gave us a little taste of how they play their first year against a really good team.
And they were at home as well too.
Yeah.
Hill couldn't score, but they had a red card too, so that player will be missing. But all right, moving on. Kansas City, and they 2-1 victory against Utah. Blah blah blah. We don't like talking about Kansas City. We move on. They're gonna probably win the Shield, is my prediction for them as well. Bay beats the newcomers Denver, so both Boston and Denver get to face a red card in their openers. Denver on the road and Boston at home. Red card in your opener. Both lose by 1. Bay beats Denver 2-1. Former Joel Anderson scores for Bay, and they end up winning that game. North Carolina versus Louisville 2-1. Natalie Jacobs finally. She got traded last season and didn't play much for North Carolina. She started this game, had an excellent game. They ended up winning 2-1 versus Louisville. I know either one of you or both of you got to be excited for Natalie Jacobs, former Dash player. Proud of her to finally get some time.
Yeah, I'm still upset the way that she kind of like left out of nowhere. Like it was an away game, and they're like, "Hey, no more." I was like, "Excuse me."
And she was one of my favorites too. I know, what the heck? They got rid of several of my favorite players last season.
I was like, "Excuse me, we're in away games right now. This is not allowed. This is beyond disrespectful." I was upset because out of nowhere, everybody was like asking, "Hey, is she gone?" I'm like, "Who?" I'm like, we're playing away. Like, how is she gone?" Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to her. She had a great game, and they won. So she can do well unless they're playing against us. So good job.
Right. Okay. Good Jacobs, but not against us.
Right. Yeah. Good job, Natalie. Way to go. Orlando hosted Seattle and lost 2-1. Banda scores. So she's trying to interrupt my Golden Boot winner prediction, but Banda is Banda, so I expect her to be there. We'll see if she can play every game all season if she's reliable. And then the worst team in the league, Chicago, went to L.A. to play Angel City and got their butts handed to them 4-0. Brian Garys and Michelle Alozia both started as the outside backs for Chicago. I don't know what that says for you, Dash fans, but for me, that says Chicago is in trouble.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Using Ryan as defense, you said?
So Ryan was used as a left back at one point for the Dash, but that was 2 years ago, and it was
but
Braun, I think.
No, that was a fluke.
That dude, I think he might. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. So at one point, so she's that kind of that left wing. She's that Aliyu person, really.
Yeah. Interesting word, the placement.
Right.
I'm not surprised about Alozie though. I do miss her also. Yeah, that's
she plays different
for her. But Ryan,
she plays different positions.
Yeah, I still haven't really seen how Ryan plays after her baby, and I know it's been a little bit now, but I never really saw her like dominant.
She scored her only NWSL goal after the baby.
Yeah, she. I mean, I got to see her speed on the sideline. So for me, I was like, wow, she had a baby. I'm like, that just shows how strong women's bodies are. Honestly, like seeing her come back and with the support, because I feel like the Dash is one of the teams that really shout out to the Dash for supporting women to be able to have careers and have families. I think that's something that sometimes is not a highlight for women, and I think that the Dash has done an amazing job to do that. But I saw her in the sidelines, and just to see her speed and her resistance and just the physical capability that she has, like it was amazing.
Well, last season, we had 4 new moms, and so shout out
Yes,
to like our physical therapists and our trainers
yes,
and stuff like that, because they really did get right back up there. And
yeah,
so no, props
for
to the
sure.
moms, like they killed it, and to see their
Yeah,
husbands cheering on the moms, I love to see that.
You know
and the
that.
kids,
And
babies.
oh my, I love that they had all boys. Like that's so cute.
Yeah, and they had him on the field after the games. I think that's one of the
Mhm.
reasons that I really, again, applaud the Dash for doing that and setting a difference, not only
Yeah,
like within the NWSL, but also not like internationally, that it can for sure be done if the team is doing what they need to do and support their athletes.
yeah.
Hey, y'all shout out the crew that takes care of those moms and getting them fit and ready to come back in. You know, there was an article or a video, or I forget. You know, it was last year during the middle of the year that came out and talked about the crew and the staff that took care of these women and their moms,
Yes.
or not, and their moms, and the moms that they are becoming, and took care of their, and got them fit and ready back to the game. So yeah, you know, maybe we can find that and we'll post that so y'all can go back and check that out if you missed it or didn't see it, since this is a big shout out. And, you know, these women, you know, you think when they, you know, for me, from one side, you think you have a baby, like, oh, you know, career's over, it's over. But no, then you come back and you see these athletes perform and what they're doing to perform. They are magical women. Shout out to friggin' y'all. Y'all are special people, and I know I love y'all. But, but you know, that is the NWSL Roundup. The standings as it sees it, we are tied for second technically, because you know Angel City won 4-0, so goal differential they're going to be first. But there was a lot of teams that won by one. We didn't give up a goal on the road, and we scored a goal on the road. So technically, we would have the second seed if the playoffs started today. Andreas hates it when I talk about the standings and it's week one, but I do like to point it out. We are in second today. But
Valid, valid. Hopefully it'll stay like that or better.
we're
Yeah.
better. Yes.
Let's keep it there as long as possible. Okay.
Yes, yes,
That's all I
yes,
ask. As
yes.
long as possible.
As long as possible. All right. Y'all, we are getting towards the end of the show, but we are not getting towards the end. It is time to talk Houston Dash versus Boston. Tickets are selling fast. Saturday, 3 p.m. game. Let me repeat that. 3 p.m. game in the middle of Houston, just after spring break. It is going to be warm, but don't be scared. Don't worry about that one bit. Show up to the stadium. They're going to take care of you. There's water, there's food, there's good prices. It's cheap tickets too. A lot of tickets have been sold, but Houston is finally home for their home opener for the 2026 season versus newcomer expansion team Boston Legacy, who we talked about lost against Gotham in the champion. So that was a good showing for Gotham. But your girl, I'm going to start with you, Danny, because of the Venezuelan effect right here. Barb Oliveri returns home. So let's get a
I
preview of Houston
know.
Dash versus Boston. Barb did play, I think it was 20 something minutes in her game over there. She did come off the bench and play. So looking forward to her returning home. But what are your thoughts on this game against the Boston Legacy as we open the season up at home?
So again, them being a new team this year, and again Barbie being back, she's a home. Katie's Dwellin, so I think we're gonna welcome her back. It'll be fun to just kind of see how she plays with our new team too, right? Because like we were saying about Robbie playing with her old team, but we also have like half a new squad, and so I don't know if she'll quite be ready or expected of what we can show up. And so I look forward to kind of see her little razzle dazzle.
Now, it looked like I did watch some of the game too, but I also left. I left to drive to Houston before halftime ended for that Boston versus Gotham game. And I liked what Boston was doing. I do, they look like they were pretty good for an expansion team. They're not getting any hype from the experts at all right now from what I've been seeing for some of the platforms that I follow. I did mention Soccer Wise earlier. I don't mind giving them a shameless shout out. They get enough anyway. So my little shameless shout out is not going to help them one bit, whatever. But they're one of the experts that didn't predict us well as either. So Laura, Boston comes in versus Houston Dash. What is your lookout of this game coming in?
I mean, I saw some of the highlights against Gotham. Obviously, Gotham, was dominant in every sense of the word. But it's Boston's first season, and I think that every expansion team within the first season is kind of one that is going to be forgivable. Like, I think it's kind of like trial and error, honestly, which doesn't mean that the team isn't really trying to make it to the playoffs or beat every team that they can. So I don't think it's something that the Dash has to take lightly. I do think that, at least in paper, it does seem like a team that the Dash could obviously win and have a good home opener. So I think that it's a good probability that the Dash will win. Again, it's going to be the first away game. Was it they're going to play away game,
Right.
First away game for Boston.
Our
Mhm.
So it's
home,
going to be
their first
interesting
away.
to see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Boston plays as an away team for the first time within their, history. So I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game all around. And I do see the Dash winning. Hopefully, I won't be back here next week saying something else, but I do see that, at least in paper, it's going to be a very winnable game. And like what Dani said, it's going to be good to see Barbara Olivieri back on the pitch. Honestly, she was one of my favorite players. I think that, the Dash did lose some kind of support, and I don't want to use the word spice, but would it like fire compared to other players? I think Barbara Olivieri was one of the players that, even though the Dash was behind 2 goals, she wouldn't stop. Like, she would grab the ball, let's go, and push your teammates. You have to push, like, pass me the ball, I'll get it. And she knows how to use her body, even though she's smaller. A lot of the times compared to other players, she knows how to use her body. She knows what it can do. And I love to see that kind of passion, just being a Latina, knowing that, most Latinas, I'm 5'1", most of us are not bigger frames, or, and that hype, to see somebody play that way, the way that she played, I feel like sometimes she didn't get the hype that she deserved. So to see her in a different game, in a different team, is going to be interesting to see her, see how she's grown after coming back from Liga MX as well.
But I also don't want them coming here and like Dash being like, oh, we don't have to try so hard because they're new. They already lost it, got them. No. I still want us to destroy them.
Yeah, that's why I said in paper it looks good, but the Dash doesn't have to say, oh, they're new, they don't care. No,
like we still need to, headstrong.
Houston Dash don't have that mentality yet, because we have no reason to have that mentality yet to where we can think somebody is less than us.
No.
What have we had in history? Our goal is to make history, as Fabrice told me in Dallas. It is to make history. So prove it and make
with positive things.
Yes, with positive history. Yes, positive history. Make the playoffs. Win a playoff game is history. So, all right. Looking at this game, I'm with y'all. I'm confident the Dash are going to win this game. I'm looking at that midfield, and it's going to step up and be dominant. The defense, Malia Berkeley, as I gave a shout out earlier, is still going to be as dominant as well. What is Boston going to do? You mentioned it already, Laura. They're their first road away game in history. So one, they're going to have the pressure of their first away game. That's a lot of pressure to begin with. Can you perform on the road? You're going to come to a 95-degree plus temperature, sun directly above you, most likely beaming on your ass and going to warm you up. So be ready for it, because our girls are. Some of our rookies might struggle a little bit because of this weather, as they're coming from North Carolina, Duke, and Notre Dame. But so they're not going to feel the heat. But that's our home field advantage. The crowd is going to be excellent, as we mentioned. The lower bowl is probably sold out by now, as the Dash mentioned 2 days ago. Get your tickets now. Sold out. The lower bowl is almost sold out, which also means the upper bowl will have 3 to 5 sections with people in those. So I'm looking for 10, 12,000 fans for the opener, and I'm hoping more. But I'm going to start with you, Laura. I'm going to go back to you. Score line and who's going to score. These are our predictions that we do every week.
I hate making predictions. It's
I
not my forte.
know.
You just make one up and roll with it.
I want to say
0-0.
no.
No.
So you
No.
do
No,
have
Don't
shut your
say
one.
that.
mouth.
We had so many draws last season. It was
Yeah,
annoying.
no, we're not doing that. I want to say either it's going to be a 2-0 or maybe even a 2-1 with the Dash winning.
I like it. And
That's what I think.
hard to predict where the goals come from or who they come from. Can you predict where they come from? Maybe a set piece, a corner kick, a penalty kick, an outside the box goal, not necessarily who it comes from.
I would say perhaps a set piece and an outside of the goal.
Okay, I like it. Two
Those
to
not
one.
not from who, I have no idea.
Right.
I don't
All
know.
right. 2-1
I
victory
don't
because we don't know what Fabrice is going to do with the starting lineup either. So yeah, there's a big
Yeah.
question.
So yeah.
Danny, same thing. So do you have a goal scorer? Do you have a
I
place where they can goal score from? And what's the score?
like the idea of a 2-1. Maybe another 1-0 just to show that we can like stop the ball, right? But I think we're gonna do like a wide goal. I don't know if we're necessarily like down the middle kind of people. I think that kind of makes us nervous. We see like a huddle of people and we try and charge in or we back up, and I think a wide goal is what we're gonna aim for.
I like it.
So especially because our coach doesn't mind us going wide, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
We play the ball. Avery
Valid.
Patterson getting a wide goal, maybe a cross that ends up in the goal that we didn't finish. So something like that. I'm with y'all,
yeah,
but I'm going 3-1. I'm confident
Okay.
that we are going to get the goals. We're at home, and Fabrice
Okay.
does like to play a little more aggressive at home than he does on the road. He does sit back more on the road, and he does play more forward at home as he's more confident at home and as are the girls as they should be when you have home field advantage and the crowd will be behind them and they're going to feed behind that. So I'm going to go the 3-1. Do give up the one, unfortunately, but that's because we do that. We put ourselves in situations and Jane Campbell has to make saves. Something's going to end up in the net at some point. Hopefully they're just on the underside of the score line and we're still winning or still end up winning. 3-1, Clarissa Laracy gets a goal. I'm high on her, and that's my Laura. That was my bold prediction. Is Clarissa Laracy is going to have a great year. She scored one goal in 2 years, 2 friggin' full calendar years, and she is deserving. And if she can get onto a hot streak, she gives the effort, she gives the energy. She does like the foul defenders, but if she can get on a hot streak, she can score some goals, and that's my bold prediction. She's going to score some goals. So look, Larissa Laracy gets one. Yasmin Ryan gets one, and I'm with Danny. One of those outside, maybe off the set piece, or maybe off one of those crosses where we rebound and then it gets put back in, comes into a golasso to make it 3-1. But that's where I'm at, 3-1. I think while we're across the board, where we're going to win this game. Danny, what do you
I
think?
will say. I do love that you did 3-1. I wanted to say that. I just didn't want to be cocky about it because like I don't want to put so much pressure on our team so early. But
Yeah.
I can see how it could be a 3-1. If that's possible, then that's awesome. But I still believe that they'll win either way.
I love
Yeah.
that we're putting pressure on the team, that the girls are listening to this show, and Fabrice is listening to the show, and I hope Edgar is telling them y'all should listen to the show. So yeah, some of them
Yeah.
they'll never tell us, of course, but you know they might be listening. That might get me getting some motivation from y'all. So
Just if they're listening, just know I believe in y'all. Y'all can do it.
Pep talk. Please replay this before you guys go into the pitch.
Right.
hashtag prove it. So,
Sure.
we're with it. We're with it. We're with it. All right, y'all. I think we are at the end of this friggin' show. And Laura, I want to thank you very much for dropping in, for joining us for dropping into the studio, to hanging out in the Foxtrot studios, to being part of Foxtrot Media. Dani, I owe y'all both flowers for joining us. I'm so happy. For one, this is going to be a great year one for the Dash and for Foxtrot Media. So, Laura,
Yes.
Foxtrot Media, thank you for joining us. Tell people where they can find you and where they can follow you the most.
Again, thank you so much for, welcoming me in and the opportunity to be part of the growth that you guys are having. Congratulations for that. And Laura Gómez News everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, what else? That's it, right? Oh, Twitter.
Yeah.
And Threads.
Everything.
Everything. I don't have TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that. I don't know.
We're missing you on TikTok. All right, we'll get you on TikTok. It'll just be on my version. Yeah, those shorts are gonna pop up on TikTok. So same thing. Houston's own H-Town Sports Girl. Tell everybody where they can find you and listen to you the most.
Y'all can find me on Instagram at H-Town Sports Fangirl, where it's not just Dash, it's everything. So
And it's also hashtag NoOneAsked. You have one?
No One Asked. I do have a No One Asked. Okay, talking about our home opener on Saturday. Did y'all know that they're giving out passports that you can get autographed and stamped throughout the season?
What?
Yeah, that's one of the giveaways this year. So to begin the season, you know how
Nobody
you go to
knew.
the corner and all the players go and they'll do pictures and autographs and stuff like that. So I'm so obsessed with the idea that now they'll have you like a little formal passport book that you can get autographs and stamps. And so I think that's really neat.
That is, I love it. I love that
it, right?
idea.
You want everything in like one place, and so that's perfect. Be like, oh my god, sign it and just
It's
fill it up.
perfect.
Like
It is perfect. It is
I
perfect.
wonder if we'll be able to take advantage of that.
Yes, and if y'all heard me before, my birthday's in 2 weeks, and I just asked that y'all go to the home opener. Tickets are as low as $15. There's no reason not to go. It's family friendly. Bring the kids. Show up. Represent Dash. Cheer them on. And so go get your ticket.
Dani.
And I want to mention also that we're in the World Cup year. So, going to the Dash games will hype you up towards what maybe will be a disaster in the U.S. or will be a good thing as far as the World Cup. But at least you'll go to the Dash game.
Yeah.
At least you will enjoy some good soccer. Yes. We're expecting more from USA, though, and that's not going to be a disaster. We're getting out a group. We're winning that first step, and then after that, then it's, everything's a bonus after that. Dani, you mentioned everybody should come to a Dash game. Some people like, how do I get tickets? How do I get tickets? Well, what if we had a couple tickets to give to somebody? Is there a way they could get them from us?
We do have 2 tickets to give away, and I'm so excited because we want y'all to be there so badly that we are literally giving you 2 tickets to show up and represent Dash. So, how to win them? The question is, how many saves did Jane Campbell have this past game? You have to tell us the correct number. We mentioned it on this session several times because we love Jane Campbell. Shout out and tag a friend. And so if you can do that, be first, be correct, you'll get 2 tickets to Saturday's home game.
So tell us how many saves, tag a friend, because that's who you want to bring with you. They may not come with you. That's up to you once you get the tickets, but we'll give those tickets away on Friday, and we'll make sure to produce the video of the wheel being to the winner, ended up on the winner. So as Dani said, 2 tickets. Tell us how many saves. Sorry, how many goals. I wish Jane Campbell would score a freaking goal.
Not goal.
No, I wish Jane Campbell would score a goal. I would.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Just her kick it across pitch, just like into the third goal. Can they do that?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. You know how many?
My mind would be so
scoring
blown.
from on at the end of games, scoring goals. Like I don't want
going
her
to corner
be in
kicks
that
and
situation.
getting in there.
Yeah.
Don't want.
That'd be. See, talking about making history. Now we have expectations, Campbell.
Okay, Jane, that's your challenge.
There you go, Jane.
4.
There you go, Jane. While you're in your garage working out, I'm going to score a goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to score a goal. All right, y'all. Woo! Where was I? Got thrown off by Jane working out.
I know, we got excited.
Scoring a goal. I literally did forget where I was at, but I think that is it for the show. That is friggin' it. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for this season. Y'all, the tickets. Ask for them. Tell us how many saves. And I want to see y'all at the stadium. There is going to be, Laura will be there, Dani will be there, I will be there, the Dynamic Foxtrot will be there. We have a crew working this weekend, so come say hi to us, or we'll try to find you on the concourse or at your seats. Tag us your seats. If you have tickets and you don't need to win tickets, tag us your seats. Oh, by the way, you're like, where can we stay? Where can we win these tickets at? Any platform that at Dynamic Foxtrot is on, IG, go to at Dynamic Foxtrot on any platform and tell us how many saves and tag a friend. That's the easiest way, and then we will put you in the drawing that way, because we have 17 people in the crew now, so if you tag us all, then we might not get you in the drawing. So yeah, that's the easiest way. But this is the Dash Dispatch. I want to thank you again, Dani. I want to thank you, Laura. We have more coming this season. We're going to see y'all every Monday night as we record this every Monday night. Episodes will come out on Tuesday morning. If you want us to start going live on Monday nights at 6:30, let us know. This could be something great for you while you're prepping dinner and getting the kids ready down for bath. You want to listen to some Houston Dash. You want to listen to Laura. You want to listen to Dani. And I'll just sit here and shut up and keep my mouth shut, because they are Dash Dispatch. Hey, I want to say age is up. Dani, any last word?
I expect to see y'all at the game. That's a threat.
Laura, last words?
If you're not watching women's sports, you're behind.
You are behind. You're definitely behind. I enjoy it. All right, y'all. That is it. Let's say goodnight. H is up.
Bye.
Peace.